heck is my notebook? There it is. Give me some more water. Oops. Okay, that looks good. Get our little trinket out of the way. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. There's nobody here, but mostly I'm doing this for myself. Recently I've completed the 8th page of The Dark Mcdonaldland Returns. Let me go ahead and turn this little backing track down. Very good fade out, very professional. So The Dark Mcdonaldland Returns is a comic I'm working on. It is a parody of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. Let me make sure that gets in a frame properly there. That's pretty good. Parody of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman is, you guessed it, McDonald's. And that's where we have here. As far as why I'm doing this, the first reason is that I think it's funny. Last year, I did this first page, and it worked pretty well. Let me go ahead and compare and contrast here. I'm going to have to possibly move everything over a little bit, and then we can even, just for clarity's sake, kind of do something like that possibly. That might work. see if I can get it to where my hand's not exactly blocking everything. So I did this page last year. I actually have it dated. It took me from 7/22 to 7/28, 2024 to draw and color this entire page. And as you can see, I kept the panel for panel format. I tried to keep the tone of the text. We'll go over that in a second. I'm not writing any sort of script for this. I'm basically looking at this page for page, almost as if I'm doing a study. I consider the text and the story and the narrative and the pictures, they all go together as one in the comic book format. But I also like this idea of the page itself being an art object. I like the idea of the comic book being an art object. So in as far as like, let's break all these things apart and like let's do the script together. I'm going to treat this exactly how I read it in 11th grade or in the summer between 10th and 11th grade as a whole thing, a gestalt, a whole. At that point, I didn't really understand, I knew that like people penciled, I knew that they had inkers, and I knew they had colorists and letterers, but I didn't really understand like what exactly the process was in each of those to properly separate those as a reader. So as such, The Dark Knight Returns has always kind of just like been this gestalt. And then in doing the study, in looking at like the panels and the drawings, and then trying to emulate the ink work, it's not so much that I'm emulating Frank Miller, it's so much that I'm emulating Klaus Janson. So it's like, okay, now I have to look at how Klaus Janson's mark making, and then, and again, I'm still like, I'm not looking at Klaus Janson's mark making, like I'm not going to look at other comics that Klaus Janson has done in order to take something and nope, I'm just simply going to look at the gestalt and reinterpret it, but plug in these fast food characters and mascots and themes in an effort to see how much of this book you can kind of transcribe to be about, hey Facial, nice to have you back. I'm just going over the comic here. But how much of the comic you can have be about, it's this dark, serious reinterpretation of Batman, but then you juxtapose it with like fast food characters. And as far as American mythology goes, I talked about it on my last live stream a little bit when I went to God's Acre. But 20th century American mythology is largely based in advertising. And like the myth making is things like, and you can look at our World War II propaganda, like you have a lot of Superman, Captain America, a lot of utilizing these cartoon characters. I mean, I think there's even Popeye. Even if you look at, poked myself with a nib there. If you look at the propaganda from the other side, like Japanese propaganda, anti-American Japanese propaganda, they're often depicting Americans or the GIs or the people flying the planes as like Mickey Mouse or Popeye and stuff like that. So it's very, like, that American myth making is so prolific that it like made its way around the world. It was very influential. And it's still very influential. But I think the other half of it too is like after World War II, you had McDonald's kind of like taking root or whatever. And then you had the birth of the middle class. You could, because of Ray Kroc's business practices, you could own your own McDonald's franchise and have a American business that supports your you know what I'm saying? It's definitely like selling of the American dream, the middle class, blah, blah. It ties in, I think. I'm not doing any research on this. I'm going on pure vibes here. But anyway, let's do a little close reading here. Let's go ahead and read page 1 of The Dark Knight Returns. And we'll, let's see if I can get this a little closer to the camera too, so we can, so that way you can get a good idea of what we're looking at. I'll wait for that shot to line up, just make sure I'm looking good here. That should be pretty good. Let me scroll up. Yeah, we'll come down a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Alright, so we got Bruce Wayne. He's in like a race car. One of the things I love about Frank Miller's compositions is there's like a heavy abstraction to a lot of them. He also does a lot of repetition, which is where you get a lot of these like talking heads and stuff, but it's not abundantly clear that he's in a race car. That's what I mean about the abstraction. He could be in anything. Like he could be in the Batmobile too. Even his helmet looks like, bat wings and stuff like that. So there's an intentional like abstraction going on here. But the overall, without looking at the text, the overall thing is like he's still engaging in dangerous activity. We got the fire, we got the pulling of the wires, we got the helmet on to protect him, and he seems unfazed throughout the progression of these panels. And that's the other thing I like about it. There's repetition. We get a lot of the same shots of Bruce, but there's also like little riffs on that repetition. Like you have a motif, like you're listening to jazz. You have like somebody plays like a little stanza or whatever, and then you play the stanza and a little flair on the stanza, and then by the end of it, you get something different, but still can harken back to the beginning. Anyway, I've got the home stretch all to myself. When the reading stopped making sense. Sorry, it's just weird angle for me to read this at. Might be easier just for me to do this. Bruce, this is Carol. You're going too fast. But the computer crosses... Maybe I'll do voices here so we can differentiate when we're changing it up. But the computer crosses its own circuits and refuses to let go. I coax it. It isn't programmed to... Bruce! Bruce, you son of a... It shoves hot needles in my face. I try it and tries to make me blind. I'm in charge now, and I like it. Then the front end lurches all wrong. I know it's coming. I've got just under 2 seconds to shut the mess down and forfeit the race. The engine, angry, argues the point with me. The finish line is close. It roars, too close. The left front tire decides to turn all on its own. I laugh at it and jerk the steering wheel to the right. Then we get like a silent panel here of the action. Again, lots of abstraction here. You're not incredibly clear with what's going on here, but to me it looks like the bumper, the tire, and from the dialogue, like you can kind of go from here to here and extrapolate. This is like two different parts of the same elephant, almost. The nose digs up a chunk of macadam. I look at it, straight into the eye of the sun. This would be a good death, but not good enough. Spectacular finish to the Newman elimination at the Ferris 6000 pinwheeled across the finish line, or as the Ferris 6000 pinwheeled across the finish line, a flaming coffin for Bruce Wayne, or so everyone thought. Turns out the millionaire bailed out at the last second, suffering only superficial burns. Lola? Thanks, Bill. I'm surprised anyone could even think of sports in this weather, right, Dave? So, here's what I cooked up over a year ago. I've got the home stretch all to myself. When the dollar menu stops making sense, I switch to manual. You know, the value menu used to be a value, but the POS system crosses its own circuits and refuses to let go. I coax it. So we make the race car to be about the cash register POS system, the point of sale. That's what POS stands for if you're not a retail slave like I used to be, and hopefully can avoid, but, if I have to, I'll go back to it. I remember you could get 25-cent hamburgers every Wednesday, you corporate extortionist sons of... I dump ice in the fryer. It shoves hot needles in my face. I'm in charge now, and I like it. Then the POS system lurches all wrong. I know when it's coming. He's ripping the monitor out. I've got just under 2 seconds to get this POS in the fryer and void the transaction. He's going to throw the point of sale system in the deep fryer after the ice. The fryer grease, angry, argues the point with me. The end of my shift is close. It roars, too close. The left front fryer catches fire all on its own. I laugh at it and go for another cup of ice. That's the fryer overflowing. The fryer explosion kicks up a chunk of quarter pounder. Gizmo, get out of here. Okay, get out. You're annoying me. You do this every time. You're not allowed in here. You have food. I already fed you. Good Lord. The fryer explosion kicks up a chunk of quarter pounder. I look at it, straight into the eye of the sun. These are probably my two favorite panels I've done so far, these two. This would be a good death, but not good enough. Spectacular finish to the McRib revival. As the flagship McDonald's kitchen exploded, a flaming coffin for Ronald McDonald. Or so everyone thought. Turns out the iconic mascot bailed out at the last second, suffering only superficial Burns. Don? Thanks, Will. Hopefully it won't be too long before the McRib comes back. So this is Will and Don. Just go ahead and look up Yankee in the South. I'm going to be populating the talking heads that are in this comic, the media personalities with various like YouTube, like, food YouTube people and like podcasters and stuff. Whatever feels appropriate at the time. So not all of these castings as far as the media people are permanent. It's just whatever's going to work. So, right, Lola. So we're going to go back to the Dark Knight Returns here. Right, Lola. At Gotham's magnificent Twin Towers. Maybe we should just read Dark Knight Returns, and then we'll read Dark Knight Returns. Thanks. At Gotham's magnificent Twin Towers, it's 97 with no relief in sight. Thanks, Dave. This heat wave has sparked many acts of civil violence here in Gotham City, the most hideous of which has to be the brutal slayings of the 3 nuns last week by the gang known as the Mutants. And today, police found a death threat nailed to the office of Police Commissioner James Gordon. Gordon, facing retirement on his 7th birthday next month, spoke to a News 2 reporter. That's the channel she works for. I've got 4 weeks to nail those bastards. If this means they're willing to take me on, I'm delighted. Yeah, I give Gordon like kind of a little bit of a voice there. Ironically, today also marks the 10th anniversary of the last recorded sighting of the Batman. Dead or retired, his fate remains unknown. Our younger viewers will not remember the Batman. A recent survey shows that most high schoolers consider him a myth. But real he was. Even today, debate continues on the right and wrong of his one-man war on crime. This reporter would like to think that he's alive and well, enjoying a celebratory drink in the company of friends. I said we're going to read all this and then go back to this, but then we couldn't compare and contrast the pages. So I'm going back on my word. We're going to go read this now. Alright, so we got Will and Don. Again, Yankee in the South. Look them up on YouTube. Make your own judgments. Right, Don. At McDonald's headquarters, humidity is up, air quality is down, thanks to extra grease in the air from the fire. Thanks, Will. If it gets any hotter, I might dip myself in flour, go outside and get crispy. Which seems to be the motive behind the latest act of violence from the Grimace Gang, throwing hot grease on Whole Foods shoppers. And today, police found a Happy Meal toy that is currently on promotion, nailed to the office door of beloved founder Ray Kroc. Beloved founder of the fast food empire. I might have to change that beloved there. I gotta make some notes here. We are gonna be making notes of things that might need to change. Let's go down here. So let's make a little note here. Dark Mac Tonight returns. Edits. So we're 8 pages in. Might be a good time to kind of give ourselves an audit. So that way we can one of the other reason I'm doing this is also so I can get a good idea of where we're going next. So that way it's not too random and we can have some sort of through line. Every now and again I got to go back and read everything I've done, make some notes, and then we'll edit. Luckily the computer is here. I don't have to, it shouldn't be too hard to edit some of this stuff. I say that now. Alright, so page 2. That's panel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remove 5 or 6. Remove 1 of beloved. I guess that would be an adjective. It's describing that he's loved or something. I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I understand how language works. I just can't put a face to a name, But I get the broad strokes of it. I probably shouldn't do that like that. Let's just put this in my lap. That'll be good. When franchises started selling unauthorized items and tarnishing our reputation with bad quality, I shut it down and I'll do the same to these punks. Ironically, today also marks the 30th anniversary of the last recorded sighting of Mac Tonight. Dead or retired, his fate remains unknown. So, yeah, this has been really 30 years. 1996 and 97, I notated here, was the last appearance of Mac Tonight in an ad campaign. Our younger viewers will not remember Mac tonight. A recent survey shows that most high schoolers consider him cringe and a boomer. But based he was, overseeing an era of the best fast food toy licensing and late night binge eating, fighting a one-man war on hunger. Rumors place him most recently in Southeast Asia. In 2006, I have a little notation here, McDonald's brought Mac Tonight to Southeast Asia to promote stores open 24/7. And he's, from what I understand, still a mascot there. This YouTuber would like to think he's alive and well, playing piano on the moon. Now we move on to page 3. So here we go. We have, in The Dark Knight Returns, Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne sitting down for a little drinky poo. To Batman. It's good that he retired, isn't it? So we got Gordon on the left, Bruce on the right. I'm grateful he survived retiring. He didn't, but Bruce Wayne is alive and well. Glad to hear that. You certainly learned to drink. Remember the old days, Bruce? That Playboy routine? With your ginger ale pretending it was champagne, fooling everybody? Almost. Well, I'd almost worry. Spoken to Dick lately? Not for 7 years, Jim. You know that. Still, huh? I'm damn sorry about that. Especially with what happened to Jason. Well, let's call it a night, Jim. We get Bruce Wayne walking down the sidewalk of Gotham City. I love these Frank Miller cretins that he draws in here. We got one of them saying, "We are damned." Or I guess the other, they're both saying, holding signs saying, "We are damned." As we part, Jim squeezes my shoulder and grins. "You just need a woman," he says. While in my gut, the creature writhes and snarls and tells me what I need. I leave my car in the lot. I can't stand being inside anything right now. I walk the streets of the city. I'm learning to hate. The city that's given up, like the whole world seems to have. I'm a zombie, a flying Dutchman, a dead man, 10 years dead. Some good stuff, man. That's some good stuff. So back to the Dark Mac Tonight Returns. So we have Ray Kroc, Ronald McDonald, sitting down to some McDonald's milkshakes. To Mac Tonight. It's good he retired, isn't it? I'm grateful. Late night drive-thru survived. It didn't. We tried 4 locations before we got one with a working ice cream machine. Franchisees have their right to repair. The instant shakes didn't need a machine. The old days, that Moon Man routine. You'd come down on your cloud pretending to play the piano. The golden lights. McDonald's for dinner. Now, well, you talked to the McNuggets lately? No, Ray. You know that. Damn shame. Especially with what happened to Kid Vid. Let's call it a night. I'm back tonight. Oh yeah, Ronald walking down the streets of, I guess, Mcdonaldland. I haven't officially named what the city is. So you get Ronald. I made trying to make this person here a little bit fatter. I thought the idea of the bystanders being fatter in this fast food world would be kind of a fun visual gag. I added some signs here to kind of also really double down on this overbearingness that Bruce Wayne is feeling. So I figured, what would Ronald McDonald be feeling? Well, maybe in this era of fast food, we got Five Guys, we got Smashburger, Chipotle, Blaze Pizza, all these new wave fast food restaurants, boutique fast food, bourgeoisie fast food, if you will. Ronald McDonald's the working class fast food, Again, talking about the franchisee thing. But it's also you go back to what Ray Kroc is saying. Anyway, as I get up, Ray belches and grins. I tell him I have to shit. Well, in my gut, a silver face leers behind sunglasses telling me what I need. Muckbangers, gorging themselves in their cars, clog the parking lot like their coronary arteries. I walk the streets, a black hole of consumption threatens to devour me with the rest of the city. I'm a phantom, a relic of the golden age, 20 years dead. because Ronald McDonald's recently returned. Mcdonaldland has recently come back. Ronald McDonald hasn't been front and center for a little bit. So now we're going to move on to page 4. I hope the voices I'm doing are adding to this. Let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat when you come in, are the voices good or the voices bad? So I don't think I have any notes for that page. I like that page as is. Let me look at the dialogue again. I have to shit. Mukbangers in their cars clog the parking lot like their coronary arteries. I walk the streets, a black hole of consumption threatens to devour me at the rest of the city. I'm a phantom. I like this. It's silly, but it's got a Frank Miller quality to it. Okay, on to the next thing. So let's read The Dark Knight Returns here. Page 4. I'll feel better in the morning. At least feel less. It's the night when the city smells call out to him. Though I lie between silk sheets in $1 million mansion miles away. When a police siren wakes me, and for a moment I forget that it's all over. But Batman was a young man. If it was revenge he was after, he's taken it. It's been 40 years since he was born. Born here. Once again, he's brought me back to show me how little it has changed. It's older, dirtier, but could have happened yesterday. Could be happening right now. They could be lying at your feet, twitching, bleeding. And the man who stole all sense from your life, he could be standing right over there. He sees us. Get around behind him. Come on, honey, slice and dice. I don't know, man. He's awful big. It is him. It is. And we know so many ways to make him hurt. Or we know so many ways to hurt him. So many lovely ways to punish him. No, it's not him. Slice and dice. We got a quota. So many. I don't know, man. Look at it. He's into it. So back to The Dark Knight tonight returns. I'll feel better in the morning. At least I'll feel less bloated. It's the app. The blue light calls out to him. Brings late night food, fast food, drive-through. Brings late night fast food drive-through right up to the front door. A push notification signals the grocery budget reallocating to a delivery fee. But Mac tonight was about value. If it was late night drive-through he was after, he got it. The golden lights, incubating a monster, descending on a cloud from the heavens, a piano heralding his birth. It could have happened yesterday. It could be happening right now. The sky could part, revealing a silver grin, yet its appetite kept cool behind dark sunglasses. Maybe I should put its appetite kept cool behind. The sky could part, revealing a silver grin. Its appetite kept cool. Yeah, delete the yet. That's what needs to come out. So where's my pen? Here it is. What do we say? Page 4. Panel 5. Okay. Good to know. The imitators who stole, or no, I know. Sir, this is a Wendy's. The imitators who stole all sense from your life, still standing, right over there. Celebrate our birthday. Grimace shake, supersize, for the Big Mac. It is them. And we know so many ways to make their bellies full. So many ways to celebrate a birthday. No, it's not them. Take a sip for our birthday. Only mukbangers. I don't know, man. He looks like the real deal. So we got that one there. Next page. Page 5, I believe. Is that? Yeah, page 5. Back to The Dark Knight Returns. Not him. He flinched when he pulled the trigger.
He was sick and guilty over what he did. Can't do murders when they're into it. All he wanted was money. I was naive enough to think him the lowest sort of man. Let's hit the arcade, man. These are his children, a pure breed. Always a good time at the arcade, and this world is theirs.
Butchery of every member of the family. The mutant organization is believed to have committed this atrocity for money the family had. Something under $12. This is considered a drug-related crime at present, but surely this heat wave is a factor. Right, Doc? Absolutely, Bill. We're off month in the big town right now. The mercury is climbing to an unseasonable 103, and it looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better.
This just in. A dead cat has been found stapled to the door of the First Church of Christ the Redeemer. The mutant gang is suspected.
No, it's not them.
Dark Mac tonight, no.
They got full when they ate a meal. This is a void.
Hey, you don't look so hungry.
An insatiable hunger. A hole to throw the world into where no light escapes.
Let's hit the Sonic drive-thru.
Beyond appetite. They're mukbangers.
Those always a good time at the Sonic.
They'll supersize it.
Dude, have you seen this? People are dying from the Grimace shakes. It's got to be all over those. It's got to be all those dyes and preservatives. So we got Joe Rogan as our news talking head. He doesn't understand that the Grimace shake meme from a few years ago wasn't real. That's the characterization I'm doing here. Even though in this book, the Grimace gang is butchering people. You know, we're riding the line of like what exactly is happening here. I mean, how many coincidences do you need before you wake up? RFK Jr. has been talking about this for years. Joe, listen. If Grimace is murdering people, good. He's a hero. Have you been to a Walmart? So we got Tim Dillon here. Half the country looks like they should be taken out by a milkshake. Let Grimace clean house. And then we got down here our shot of Gotham, McDonald's sign here. And then this little eagle gargoyle I changed to the Chick-fil-A cow with a eat more chicken sign on him here. And then our talking head down here is Report of the Week, Review Bra. Well, folks, today I tried Wendy's famous chili, but upon opening it, amongst the ground beef, I found a human finger. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. I gotta change that background to be Wendy's. So this is page 5. Let's do page 5. View, bra, BG, change to Wendy's. Excuse me. Alright, and then the next page here, The Dark Knight Returns, we have a cut to Arkham Home for the emotionally troubled. The intensive treatment ward. No visitors, no smoking either. 99 degrees and the air conditioner blows. Water's out in my building too. Couldn't even take a shower this morning. You know what I hate most about the heat? It's the way your underwear sticks to. Shut up! Yeah, well, you don't see him sweating. Just look at him. You look at him. He makes me sick. Yeah, well, guess being crazy has its moments. Been a long time since any of these guys had moments. When I came here, they said I could never be cured. We know, but they said, Harvey. We know what they said, Harvey, but that's history. Surgical procedures have improved, as have psychiatric. You're fit to return to society no matter what our septuagenarian police commissioner says. Maybe Gordon is right about me. Nonsense. Gordon's just gone senile. Dr. Willing isn't qualified to judge that, but I concur. Thank you, Dr. Wolper. And now, Harvey Dent meets Harvey Dent. Oh my god. And then we got the Dark Mac Tonight Returns. We got Playland for the emotionally troubled. Intensive treatment ward. No vaping. No visitors. Sir, deliveries must be left at the front desk. And you can't leave your vehicle. I gotta add that A in there. You know what? I have a pen right here. I can do that right now. Ooh, that's too thick. That would be no good. Can't use my... This will work. Likely. Okay, you can't leave your vehicle blocking the entrance. Relax, the app says, let me get our mysterious Joker stand-in. To take the order to room 602. Sir! Oh, we got a thick vape cloud here. We've got to draw in the Noid, page 6, panel 4. Okay. And I gotta take a picture. Let's see. 601 doctors. Are you sure? Hamilton, you must learn to carry the burden, to look upon the hamburger and resist. We've rebuilt the body. Now this is the crucible for the mind. When I came here, they said I could never be cured. Neuroplasticity is lifelong. The circuits that wired you into compulsion can be unwired. Each time you resist, you're laying down a new pathway. So we got Andrew Huberman, if that's not obvious by, which it's not. It's not a very good caricature from this far away. I get a better one on the next page. You don't cure the darkness, Hamilton. This is Jordan Peterson. You learn to shoulder it, minute by minute, meal by meal. Maybe Croc is right about me. That's the voice of learned helplessness. Croc doesn't define you, Hamilton. If you let his words define you, you've lost. Stand up, carry the weight. Focus, cortisol, and they put a hamburger in front of his face. Okay, they have a McDonald's bag over his head. They pull it off, hamburger in front of his face. They're testing his willpower. Focus, cortisol spikes. Ride it down. Rule yourself, or be ruled forever. And then Hamilton realizes, oh my God. Let's go to the next page. It's getting good. So we got Hamburglar as Harvey Dent. Reformed Hamburglar as Harvey Dent. What can I say? Back to the Dark Knight Returns. Thank you, Tom. A new life begins today for Harvey Dent. Dent, a former district attorney, became obsessed with the number 2 when half of his face was scarred by acid. Dent believed his disfiguration revealed a hidden, evil side to his nature. He adopted as his personal symbol a dollar coin, one side of which was defaced to represent the warring sides of his split personality. A flip of the coin could mean life or death for his victims. Dent's crimes were brilliantly pathological, the most horrendous of which was his last. The kidnapping and ransoming of Siamese twins, one of whom he attempted to murder even after the ransom was paid. Pretty fucking gruesome. He was apprehended in the act by Gotham's famous vigilante, the Batman, and committed to Arkham Asylum 12 years ago. For the past 3 years, Dent has been treated by Dr. Bartholomew Walper for his psychosis. While Nobel Prize-winning plastic surgeon Dr. Herbert Willing dedicated himself to restoring the face of Harvey Dent. So we got a mind and body thing. Very appropriate for Two-Face. They're restoring his mind, they're restoring his body. Speaking today, both doctors were jubilant. Harvey's ready to look at the world and say, I'm okay. And he looks great. Dent read a brief statement to the media. I do not ask Gotham City to forgive my crimes. I must earn that by dedicating myself to public service. For me, this is the end of a long nightmare and the first step on the long road to absolution. So on the Dark Mac Tonight Returns, we got Hamburglar doing all this, and then our, before we had, Will and Don when we had Lola up here. But I'm going back to Report of the Week Review Bra. I figured he was the credible news source that could deliver this background information on Hamburglar, which, I don't know, I did a little bit of research on, and I found it to be, I don't know, if you're into like advertising and like these stupid characters, it's interesting. But this will kind of give you a little background on the Hamburglar's character, and then we develop that to make it appropriate for the Dark Mac Tonight Returns. So we got the Hamburglar. Oh my god, I don't want it. He doesn't want the hamburger. And he's crying. It's the first time he's looked at a hamburger and doesn't want it. Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty, fast food news. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems the impossible has happened. Hamburglar is back and has been completely reformed. Now going by Hamilton B. Ergler. Even at the beginning of his career, one cannot help to notice that he seemed to struggle with his own identity. He was initially rejected by audiences as creepy. In 1975, he rebranded from the crafty old man to the lone jogger. One cannot help to notice this iteration arguably doubles down on creepy, opening his cape, revealing a garment, signaling the new identity. It conveys a certain flasher energy. The 1980s appeared to have brought a measure of stability to Hamilton's career. At least he settled into a visual design that not only resonated, but became iconic. And though still limited, he also began to speak beyond the robble robble catchphrase. This newfound balance masked a sort of crutch. Many observed Hamilton's compulsion for stealing hamburgers ceased to be merely about consumption, but evolved into a pattern of accumulation. So we got like Hamilton doing a little Scarface kind of pose back here. I tried to make his belly look bigger with the tie kind of going over it. He began to steal and amass hamburgers on a scale that seemed excessive and at times fueled allegations of constructing a criminal empire and flagrantly violating McDonald's established business practices from Ray Kroc. He utilized filmed exhibitions, what some would call mukbangs, as a means of distributing these acquisitions under the guise of viral marketing. These broadcasts effectively facilitated their resale to the black market. Ultimately, this activity attracted the scrutiny of Ray Kroc and Ronald. It was in fact Ronald who facilitated an introduction between Hamilton and Dr. Jordan Peterson. It's very funny to be like Ronald McDonald introducing Hamburglar to Jordan Peterson to try to get him help. That idea is very funny to me. I don't know why. Whatever you think about any of these things, I don't care, but objectively that is funny. It was in fact Ronald who facilitated an introduction between Hamilton and Dr. Jordan Peterson. The intent was to address the psychological compulsions that had driven much of his behavior and to provide a structure through which he could find stability. Shortly thereafter, he was also introduced to Dr. Andrew Huberman. Whereas Peterson addressed the issues of the mind, Huberman was enlisted to focus on the body, implementing practices designed to restore discipline, balance, and health. Together, their guidance seems to mark the beginning of what looks like a profound transformation. Hamilton is ready to look at the world and say, "I will no longer live as a creature of impulse and deceit. I will stand upright and shoulder the burden of responsibility." It's my best Jordan Peterson impression. And then here's Andrew Huberman. I don't really know what Andrew Huberman talks like. I mostly know about him from I can't do a good impression of him, but he's got like kind of a deeper voice. Anyway, what Dr. Peterson is pointing to is real. Hamilton's put in the work. He's not just managing, he's thriving. Hamilton gave a brief statement following those of Dr. Peterson and Dr. Huberman. In the past, my actions were guided by impulse and compulsion. I stole, I hoarded, and I let those habits define me. With the help of those around me, I have learned accountability. I stand before you today not as the Hamburglar of old, but as Hamilton, committed to a life of stability and honesty. Thank you. Sorry, I think somebody's at my front door. I'm not expecting anybody, so if I don't come back, I don't know. Hopefully nothing's up. Hopefully it's not McDonald's trying to get me. Oh, just UPS. Get them later. Back to the Dark Mac Tonight Returns. Anyway, Hey, we got 4 people here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying my close read of The Dark Mac Tonight Returns. And comparing it and contrasting to The Dark Knight Returns, the source material here. Anyway, on to the next page. This is the last page I've just most recently completed. So The Dark Knight Returns goes, next, Dent drew fond applause by producing a newly minted dollar coin. It was, of course, unmarred. But Police Commissioner James Gordon's reaction to Dent's release was not enthusiastic.
No, I'm not satisfied. Dr. Wolper's report seems overly optimistic, not to mention sloppy.
While millionaire Bruce Wayne, who sponsored Dent's treatment, had this to say. Gordon's remarks seem overly pessimistic, not to mention rude. The commissioner is an excellent cop, and I think a poor judge of character. We must believe in Harvey Dent. We must believe that our private demons can be defeated. And then we get a little nightmare sequence for Bruce. You got the moon, kind of a silhouette of part of his mansion here with a bat figure flying in front of the moon. It's a wing just leaving the moon. Maybe a little bit of it right here in that shadow. There's again, Frank Miller works in these wonderful abstractions here that there's just enough to infer, but just enough there that also just provides a great mood and atmosphere. And then we get Bruce Wayne lying here, the crossbars of his windows, casting a shadow on him. Wonderful shot. Excellent, quality of line, too, because you get, comic books have a sense of flatness to them, but again, this is what I've said this before, this is Frank Miller. Clearly, he draws from life, or a lot of that's how he was trained. So, and no matter at what level, I guarantee you, he's probably still working with models, or maybe not still. I mean, he's 80 years old or something. But whatever. And I don't want to say what the man's practice is, but this is what I infer from looking at it. This is so remarkably well done, but also so concise, very gestural in that you're getting as much information as possible in this composition and what's happening. You have weight, you have line quality. You also have contour that all suggests the round, but it's still all remarkably very flat. Excellent. And he says, faster than a rabbit. Faster than a rabbit, Mom. Just watch. Look at that boy run. We've got an athlete on our hands. Bruce, what are you doing? Or Bruce, what are you going to do when you catch it? Don't go in that hole. Won't get away from me. Bruce! And he falls, falls. And then in The Dark Mac Tonight Returns, we have Hamilton demonstrated he still retains a flair for showmanship when he produced a McDouble, eliciting gasps from the crowd. But rather than devouring it, he instead placed the hamburgers neatly into a to-go bag, complete with a tamper-proof seal. Founder Ray Kroc remains unconvinced of Hamilton's more balanced persona. Come on! He's the Hamburglar! It's in his very nature to figure out how to get around those tamper-proof seals. McDonald's icon and brand mascot Ronald McDonald, who sponsored Hamilton's treatment, walked back Kroc's statements. Kroc's remarks are overly pessimistic, not to mention rude. So we're just going to do a one-to-one. The founder is a shrewd businessman, but I think a poor judge of character. We must believe that Hamilton can change. We must believe that our private demons can be overcome. Because that's still kind of I like the crux of that struggle with these characters. And then we get Ronald's nightmare sequence. This is going to be fun. So we have, instead of the moon, I'm doing the clock, and I want to kind of make this a parody of the Dark Mac Tonight commercials, the nightmare sequence here. So when the clock strikes, I'm going to sing it. Just because I've been hearing this tune an awful lot. Because I'm also making beats and stuff. So now I'm really diving. The Dark Mac Tonight Returns is turning into a multimedia project. So you're going to want to subscribe if not only you want a comic, but also a mixtape possibly to download. I'll be dropping a video later today featuring my latest beat that I made from a commercial with Hamburglar's first appearance. So make sure you like and subscribe if you want a new MF Doom style beat featuring cutting up a McDonald's commercial, but also getting a good sense of a gestalt for the Dark Mac Tonight Returns. Only a little promo video I cut together. So like and subscribe if you want to hear that beat later. I'll probably play. I played it at the beginning of this live stream. I'll probably play it on when we go out to. But anyway, when the clock strikes, and we got the clock here with kind of a crescent moon shadow. 6:30. Hey, says the silhouette, the Mcdonaldland silhouette on the moon. This was very hard to do. This is a good lesson to anybody making comics. Make sure your pencils are thorough. I was also talking a lot when I was doing this, so there's a lot of like mistakes here. It didn't clean up so well in digital, so I might have to redo some of this. When the clock strikes 6:30, hey, time to head for, and then Ronald says, golden lights. And then this one's fun. So there's a commercial where the Mcdonald's like kind of flying above the world and you see a city in the background. So I did that. And then first panel here, let me catch us up on here. I want to hit play on this bad boy. Shoot. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we got Mcdonald's kind of just like aping the composition of the shot from the commercial, but rather than like the commercial's in 4:3, but I have these little panels to work with. So I'm just kind of stacking the composition rather than, letting it go out. So you get Mcdonald's at the bottom here, the city in the background with our McDonald's logo. And then what looks like a rising sun, when I go in with the colors. And then it's very clear that this rising sun's getting very bright, almost to a nuclear explosion style lighting. With a crispy Mcdonald's here in the foreground. Good. And then we got like kind of a skeletal city there. And the skeleton of Mcdonald's. Time. So it's a good time. So when the clock strikes 6:30, hey, time to head for golden lights. It's a good time. We had nothing. The golden lights have overtaken. So I figured that would be a good motif here. And that pretty much gets us to the end. I have a fresh page I got to start, which I will be doing later on today. I have a couple more drawings I have to also start. One of them's a commission, so that's kind of takes a little bit of priority. I said I'd get him a sketch by the end of the day tomorrow morning, so that'll take a little priority. I also got to do some deliveries here and eat a little lunch. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I really appreciate those of you stopping by, checking out my work. Doing some live note taking here of what needs to be edited. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot from what I read. If you, the viewer, because ultimately I want to make this comic for other people to read. If you, the viewer, have any suggestions for what I can do to make this more concise, suggest in the comments, or if you want to download the pages on my Patreon, it's only $1 a month. I'm posting pages once a week. So far, I've been pretty good with keeping up with that. I got the newest one just went up today, which would be this one. And I think that's page 8. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and do that, you can download them and give it a close read yourself. You can email me your notes, jason@scoon.art. I would love feedback on this. I think it's pretty funny. I don't think it's that incoherent. I think there's definitely a gestalt here in the same way that there's a gestalt, maybe not in the same way that there's a gestalt with The Dark Knight Returns. But I think it's working as a one-to-one study and parody. So, yeah. But let me know. If you don't think so, I'd love to hear it. I could just have tunnel vision on this and a little bit too close of a reading on it. But, yeah, patreon.com/scoonart. Like and subscribe. I got a new video going up at 4 o'clock today. You can hear a nice crisp version of some beats I've put together. And with that, have a good Mac today. Get you some outro music here.